I got my bike was like that moment. It was imprinted in my memories. And
I was looking to buy my first motorcycle, the Triumph Bonneville, for over 2 years, and it was a really long waiting period until I laid my eyes on this beautiful burnt orange color.
We bought our first Bonneville, I think Bonneville A3 in 2015. So, and the first ride we had we went to Ladakh. So that our Bonneville was the first bike which went to Ladakh, and actually I was a pillion that time, and we enjoyed the ride and the bike there. It just sustained through all the landscapes there.
I don't own a Triumph as of now, but I got a chance to ride a Street Triple RS today. So what I felt about the bike is like it's very smooth, makhan. So I enjoyed every bit of it. I wish I had long patch to ride it, but whatever in traffic, whether I ride or not, I enjoyed it very much.
It has been a long-standing dream of mine to ride and own the Bonneville. My boyfriend and I, we first got the Bonneville, the T120, and very soon, I think 3 months after owning that, we realized that one bike is not going to make it for the two of us. We kept fighting about who's going to ride. And a couple of months later, while we were still looking, we were considering a few other bike brands as well. And one day we get a call from the sales team and they're like, listen, we have something to show you guys, so come. And before they actually launched the Street Scrambler, we were given a preview of that in the basement. Very dramatic unveiling of the bike. And it was love at first sight. It was love at first sight. And we went in for that bike for me.
I ride a Triumph Street Twin. This is my first super bike, so I was eyeing the Street Twin for quite some time, about 2 years or so. And finally, when I turned 40, my husband decided to give it to me as a birthday gift. So I was very excited.
So we were riding in South India. We went to Kunnur and I shared the story with these girls. And we decided to use Google Maps. And this Google Maps for bikes took us to some crazy road, you know. And it was like very narrow, just the bike is fitting in that road. And suddenly we are going downhill, 40 degrees downhill, and there the road ends and there's cut like a step. And we're on the Bonnie, both of us. Luckily I was pillion on the Bonnie. And then we are struggling to pull the bike back to get 6 more inches of space so that we can keep pulling it back, pushing it forward, pulling it back till it took us 45 minutes to turn the bike. And full gear, at the end of it I'm like, my workout for this year is done. Because I was the one pulling and pushing, and well, my partner was on the bike clutching, declutching, braking. So yeah, that is not something I'm going to forget.
So, when we were riding to Rajasthan, so there one moment came, like all of them, they were enjoying the road. There were empty roads, nothing. You can see straight away 3 to 4 kilometers. And they were just enjoying the roads and they went ahead.
The usual thing.
There were two Tigers, one Scrambler, and I was on Duke 250. So I could not go beyond 130, 140, and they just went ahead, 10-20 kilometers ahead. And I'm disconnected on Sena. I could not connect with them. I thought I will move little forward and then I'll connect with them, but no. I could not connect with them, so I was enjoying the road slowly, 80. I came down to 80, 90. I said they will go forward and they will wait for me. They went 20, 30 kilometers ahead and they didn't wait for me until the highway came. And I was like riding slowly, enjoying the roads. So that was one moment I will not forget. Another one was when we were riding from Longewala to Tanoth. So from there we were about to go to Pokhran, but then the two Tigers, they ran out of petrol.
Karma.
They had only 50 or 60 kilometers of range left, and there were no petrol pumps ahead. So someone from the local told that if you take this route, some Ramgarh or something, I don't remember the place name. So they told that if you go from this route, you will get, after 50 kilometers, you will get a petrol pump. So when we went over there, so we left the good patch of the road and we went on the bad patch of the road. So we came to that road to enjoy the good patch, but the petrol was over. So we had to go to the bad patch and we had to do 120 kilometers of off-roading just to come back to Jaisalmer again. And then also they got only 2 liters of petrol, 150 rupees per liter
Oh my.
from the locals. And then when we came back to Jaisalmer, they got the petrol and all, everything, and then we left for Pokhran. So this was all, we left from Jaisalmer to reach Pokhran, but we again reached Jaisalmer. And from there we took another route to Pokhran. So this was all like second memorable experience.
My husband actually, he motivated me to ride the Bonneville, and in the starting, like, I had a lot of resistance on it. But he had already decided. He said, yes, you will find it fun, so better start up on that. And my answer was like, we are going to Bhutan. That was a declaration. And I was like, yes and no, yes, no, I'll think about it. And one day he walks up into the Triumph office here, he comes here to the showroom and he tells, yes, I'm taking my wife and she's taking her Bonneville. I'm taking the Tiger. And he came home and he told me, yes, I've already declared it in the showroom now, so I couldn't back out. So I said, okay, let me start off with it. And then in the process, what happened is we were going with a group called Tire Mark, and the guy told me, ma'am, Makhan Road hai. Ekdam Makhan Road hai Bhutan. I said, ठीक है, Makhan Road hai. Like, look, I'm a first timer. It will be good for me. So I did 2 to 3 times Lavasa. He said, Lavasa कर लो, बस हो जाएगा. So I did. I said, ठीक है, Makhan Road है, Lavasa किया, अच्छा लगा. I said, ठीक है, this is my confidence increased. I said, okay, yes, I can do it. So we went to Bhutan. Yes, it was okay for the first 200, 300 kilometers, and after boom, thang, it started off. The real Makhan roads, like all sludge and mud, and I didn't know what to do because I was a first timer. So I went and stopped my bike there. And it stopped it in the sludge means you know what the Bonneville does. It went off in slow motion. It was just slipping. But okay, yes, it was a good experience. I learned how to ride through those type of off-roading. I didn't know what was the meaning of off-roading till then. I said, okay, this is called off-roading. Fine. So that was one very nice experience. After that, my confidence increased a bit. So we went to Hampi, all 4 of us, again double seat. That was a very nice experience. But Hampi had a lot of those high humps. So those humps, you can say, the speed breakers. So I went through those, and then it touched that base of the bike, and the oil started leaking. And that was in the middle of a field, and it was dark on both sides and no one on the road. And so we are waving and stopping people, finding out whether they're drunk or not first. And then, okay, who will pick up my bike? So finally we got a tempo and we took the bike and got everything changed and we came back. So that was a very nice experience. The first experience what we had was when we went to Ladakh and Spiti. You know how is Spiti? I think all of you all know that about it. So Spiti, when we went through it, okay, I said, this is how you are supposed to go through it. I was a pillion that time, and ours was the most heaviest bike there. So we were just pulling it, raat ko 10 o'clock, 10:30, pulling it through that water levels and through those stones and all that, and those rocks and all. So, and ice cold water. And my husband Manoj, he put his leg down. He's already tall, so I said, "Kuch nahi hoga." He's just balancing the bike. He also couldn't reach the end of the base of the road, and we went in slow motion again there, back in freezing water. So that was a very good experience. But yes, in the way, like, I just learned, yes, adventure is one main thing, and this is an adventure, and you learn to face those type of situations. So
I would say that having the fear is like a natural part of the process. I cannot speak for others, I can speak for myself, and this started right from my first motorcycle also. I think that as much as I would have preferred learning on any other bike other than the T100, but something about that trial by fire, riding a heavy bike, a long wheelbase, and basically the wrong motorcycle for anyone to start learning on, I think it prepared me for a lot of other things, you know, to get comfortable or appreciate a lighter bike or something like that. I used to always fuss about height, I'm not going to lie. If I was just tiptoeing, it was the end of the world for me. If I was on a trail or on a slope or something like that, then it was end of the world and over for me. So that was a year or two ago. I think that I just decided that enough of this hype nonsense. I was seeing a lot of these, and I have to say this, that other women who are exceptionally short, more skilled, and who have themselves battled it on much taller motorcycles, just watching them do it so effortlessly, you know, made me feel like, okay, I'm just fussing for nothing. Personally, we have a Triumph Tiger XCA in our garage along with the Bonneville. That bike is very top heavy. The 800 is top heavy. It's one of the tallest bikes. I still struggle with it a lot. Whereas the one that I rode today, which is the new 900 series, the GTs, the Rally Pros and all, the beauty about these bikes is they are much lighter. The front is a little narrower and more, it's not as top heavy as the 800 series. And I think that just makes it a little bit more easier, more friendlier to ride. The GT also is lower, so I think that just adds to the comfort and, you know, the confidence, I guess, to, like today, riding it through an empty stretch, riding it through traffic and all, it was easy. There was absolutely no hesitation or anything, and it was actually really fun. I wish we had it for a little longer, but but yeah, it's a really fun machine. And so two factors were very much in play. One was that watching other women do it, shorter women, disadvantaged in any way, but that didn't play as a disadvantage. It actually played to their strengths. And the second is that my own desire to just get over it, put the fuss aside, and, you know, just enjoy myself. I do have the occasional hibbity-jibbies, but the fun on the other side is too tempting.
One of the most memorable moments for me so far since September is when I went to Lavasa and when I went to Ambi Valley, because I've been really scared of ghats. And I went up those ghats and I came down as well, and I was really proud of myself that I managed to do it. So I think that was one of my wow moments with the Triumph.
I've had like certain experiences where I've had to tow 1000cc motorbike with my Bonnie in a, you know, just a field, like a random field, and it actually shows what it can do if you know how to. If you know the technique to manage the weight, if you know the basic techniques are enough for any woman actually to even learn it. It's not like, you know, you think, oh my god, it's so heavy, how am I going to handle it? No, it is very simple, and it's just weight management. That's all. And I've had like the experiences Rina had on her bike in Bhutan. I've had that experience where it's a journey of self-discovery. Like you, at that moment, there are like tears running down your face. I'm crying. I'm saying, why the hell did I come for this journey? Why did I come to Bhutan? And then you come back to Pune. You see your room, you see your bed. I'm like, oh shit, I miss that. I miss it so badly. I miss the sludge. I miss the adventure. I miss the bike slipping like this. It's a very personal, and it's like a meditative experience. Definitely. Also, I would like to add that I met my husband on the first ride with the Triumph group. So the love has definitely increased.
You've got real love. So.
It's stuck now.
I think as women who are part of this culture, we are brought up with a lot of fears, a lot of insecurities. a lot of people saying no. We are brought up with a lot of voices telling us that things are gender based. So, for example, biking. If you go to see, it's predominantly it's dominated by men, right? And a lot of voices tell you that there are a lot of things women can't do. But if you look at various industries today, you have the oil industry, you have the rigs, you have biking, you have motorsports, and women are everywhere. So my message for women riders or women in general would be, don't let your gender stop you from doing something that you want to. Because you'll get there and you'll really enjoy the ride. Yeah.
Another very big learning for me has been that motorcycling is not as glamorous as it looks. It's tough. It's tough. We ride in filthy, hot conditions. There have been times where I felt that I'm not going to be able to get my gear off because it's just molted onto my skin. You come back home and you wash your hair and you see black. So it's definitely not for the faint-hearted. I've also had a very scary experience where I had a crash and there were people, there were villagers, and they surrounded me, and they were physically touching me, pulling my jacket, telling me to get my helmet off, let's take you to the hospital. It was petrifying to have 50 men just close in on me. And, it was 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes, but it seemed like such a long time. And to be vulnerable and in a place where, they see that you're on a big bike, so they know that you probably have they think you have a lot of money. And then they see you're a woman and then they are touching you all over, and it's not comfortable, but that should have demotivated me to continue. It didn't. As soon as I was okay, I was back on the bike again.
Is be geared up fully. Like
Yes.
gears necessary. Whether you ride in city or whether you go on highways or off roads, gears is an important part of riding. And secondly, I would say with higher cc comes higher responsibility. So if you own a high cc bike, you have to be more responsible on the roads. Like you just don't have to be a squid and riding all around driving. It's an individual's responsibility to maintain discipline on the road. So if an individual starts to be responsible on the road, then others would not face problem. So that is the second thing I would like to add.
Yeah, another thing I would like to add to that is I have met many women who want to get into riding but don't have the encouragement from the house or do it and individually, like independently doing it on their own is quite difficult for them. So I think this encouragement should be given, like we are just here only for, not only on Women's Day, like come on, yes, kind, you're riding and the glamour around it. So this thing should also be considered, and I think the support should be also coming from the people who are selling the bike also. So that should also be an encouragement to women. Like here you are seeing how many of us are here. So I think next year this should be double or triple of this. So that much you should be taking that, even that responsibility to get it to that.
Also, I think riding is not about just fun. It is
Yes.
a life skill like swimming and driving. So it's really important for every woman to know how to ride.
It increases your confidence.
There are a lot of women who want to ride, and most of them also from scratch. Many of them have apprehensions like the starting point being which is the right bike for me. So I would also say that if a 150cc or a 200cc appeals to them, then so be it. Because anything on two wheels, any displacement, it will get you from point A to point B. We think that the most loaded, abled machine will take you to off-roads and to Spitis and your Leh Ladakh, which currently is like the benchmark of off-road and all. But when we've gone there, we've seen your Avengers, a scooter, anything on two wheels takes you there. So first thing is that don't worry about what others are suggesting to you, what somebody is pressing down on you. The bike or the vehicle that appeals to you is comfortable to you, take that. Because that is what you have to spend time with, that's the thing that you will have to maintain, service, ride, and more importantly, enjoy. So it should not be a pressure point. It should not be something of anxiety. When you have, it's a very personal item. I think all of us have established that
Yeah.
motorcycling, irrespective of gender, is a very personal thing. Secondly is, and I can speak from my own experience, I'm still learning. Even after 3-4 years of riding, I'm still learning. There are terrains that are still new to me. There are old terrains that I've conquered, and then suddenly it's again, you know, a testing time for me to ride and to get over it, and mental blocks, and it's a process. And I equate that to, so you know, when we were kids, we were in a playground, we'd play, we'd fall, we'd go on the monkey line. We had no inhibitions. We'd fall, we'd break a bone, scrape ourselves, go home, get 2 slaps from your mother and patch you up, and you're back in the playground the next day. Yeah. And as we get older, we tend to take lesser risks and be less silly, less physically involved. So I found personally that in motorcycling, whether it's on tarmac, whether it's off-road, which is a lot more now, it's a commitment. You are constantly committing to put yourself in a state of the unknown or the stress or the fun or something. You don't know what you're going to experience that day. There are days I've started with full gusto and then felt shit on the entire ride, didn't feel like doing it, wanted to turn back. There are days where I geared up, I absolutely did not want to go out. I suddenly did not have the mood to ride, but then I went out and it just changed. So, you know, it's like going back to that playground. And then you fall, you scrape, you have aches and pains, and then you fix your bike and all that. It's fun, you're kids again. So I think that those who want to ride, who are holding themselves back, you are holding yourself back. And secondly, you don't know the fun you're missing. It's filthy.
I've had many friends who have told me that you know, even I want to learn how to, you know, ride a bike, and how is it? Do you enjoy it? Yes, obviously. That is why I've been riding for so long. But I've taught so many of them to ride it, and it's mostly more than physical. It's the mental thing which causes them to hold back on that decision. Oh, should I go for this? What will happen? What if I fall? What will people say when they look at me on a bike? They'll be like, "Arey, kai? Don't do this." No. So especially like talking to them, like telling them that it is absolutely fine. It is not that as difficult as it looks. It's very, very simple. The techniques, the mentally, you know, pushing yourself to do that thing, it will change your perspective even as a person. So that is more important, that you have to talk to them. Like I spoke to my friends, build their confidence about riding, and then one fine day, this friend of mine, she comes over with a new bike and a new KTM, and she's like, "Okay, I got this." It was one of the best feelings, you know. Like it feels nice, and I know that I'm being selfish here because I feel nice. I inspired her to do this, but like look what she did. She went and she got the bike, and so at least if I have that feeling that I've changed somebody's perspective forever, it is a really good thing. It makes me feel very good.
Yeah, I want to add in there is when we got the Triumph, then first thing Manoj came and told me, you know, there's one girl who comes there, you should meet her. She's a Spanish teacher and she rides the Bonneville. And yes, so that triggered him. I said, no, you also have to start. Like, you see the way she rides, you have to go in like that. And like, I can say frankly, like, Vaidhi was the trigger, and then it all started off.
But she didn't teach you Spanish, no?
No, she didn't. Yeah,
I'll
that's
teach
one
her
thing I
Spanish.
wish.
That's not a one-word answer, buddy.
You're asking women first of all.
Liberating.
Yeah.
Joy.
Good.
Joy.
Amazing.
Freedom, responsibility.
Yeah. Good.
Growth.
Self-discovery. The best thing about the dealership here is that from day one, it was like a family, and it still is, because of the bike and the whole dealership and everything. I managed to connect with these women so at a very deep level. It's good to know that there are other women who ride and who are who think on my level.
Like a family. You don't feel that it is very formal when you're coming to the store. And everyone here is quite friendly and nice to us all the time. So it's an enjoyable experience.
Don't have anything to do also, but still will show up at the showroom, or the showroom becomes a meeting point when I want to meet any of these wonderful ladies.
I think what BU Bhandari Triumph has given me is, they've not just sold me the bike, right? They've sold me an entire experience of a part of my life that I would have not even known that I'm missing out on. I think motorcycling is so exciting. It's so much freedom. And especially for a woman, it's a very different level of joy and satisfaction with riding a bike. So I think that's what you guys have given me. So thank you.
What I love about this particular dealership is that everything is quite seamless. So even though your bike goes from delivery to servicing to spares to accessories, etc., the process is quite seamless. It's not very difficult to get things done. I think they're very open and encouraging when it comes to women riders as well. So I like that the most about this place. Every single member of staff is very encouraging and very motivating.